Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm finally going to be reviewing the LORAC Shine Bright Eyeshadow palette. Now this is LORAC's holiday palette for this year. They skipped the Mega Pro, which I usually really enjoy the Mega Pros. I think they're really beautiful, and as soon as they go on sale, it's in, well, I mean even when they're not on sale, it's an amazing value, but especially when they go on sale, it's an amazing value, and this palette is no different. This is currently on sale at Ulta for $29. Before, I think it was on sale for $49, I think. I want to say $49. But here is what she looks like all opened up. So let's just dive right in. First, I want to start with the packaging. It's their usual cardboard packaging. It's a little bit thicker than the Pro palettes or their normal palettes, but as you guys can see, it's nothing too crazy, it's nothing too bulky. You're really not going to have any issues storing this palette. It's not oddly shaped, and I think it would still function really well for travel because it is quite sturdy, and it has a beautiful, super large mirror that I find is very easy to use while you're using the palette. So this palette does also come with a brush. As you can see right here, it is a double-ended brush. The first end is kind of a fluffy brush, and the other end is kind of a flat shader brush. I find that this brush is definitely workable. It's not my favorite brush shapes ever, but like I said, it's definitely workable. This end works great for kind of packing shadow on your lid, your inner corner, smudging things out on the lower lash line, and this does a really nice job of kind of blending color into the crease. I just wish that it was a bit more flexible almost, because it's kind of stiff. It's very dense, which I do like in my blending brushes, but I just wish it had a bit more flexibility to really buff things out rather than just kind of placing and blending them into the crease. So I do want to talk about these shadows a little bit before we do jump into swatches. So I find that these shadows are the same formula as the LORAC Pro palettes or their Mega Pro palettes, and I personally really enjoy that formula. It is a bit of a softer formula, so there is going to be some kick up in the pan, and there can be a little bit of fallout under your eyes if you're not careful, if you don't tap into the matte, well, especially the matte shades. It can happen with the shimmer shades too, but I notice it more with the mattes. But as long as you dip your brush in there, tap off the excess, and then go in, you should be fine. You should not get much fallout. I find that these blend beautifully. They're really beautifully pigmented, and they last all day on the eyes. So I have noticed that when I place one of these metallic shades all over the lid like I did today, that I've been getting a little bit of transfer like right here in my crease. It's not anything that's crazy noticeable or crazy like looking throughout the day. I've just noticed that it goes up a little bit higher than where I originally put it, but the past couple times that I've used this palette, I've just placed a glitter glue on my lid, and I end up wetting these shadows most of the time because I just like a really metallic foil finish, and glitter glue does the same thing, and I think that does the trick. Now I'm not entirely sure if that's just because of my eye shape, because as you can see when I look forward, like my lid does touch kind of that area of my crease. I don't experience that with every single shadow in my collection, so I'm not quite sure why I'm experiencing it with this one, but that's definitely something just to keep in mind. And like I said, if you have a glitter glue, just pat that on your lid, pat the shadow on top, it'll make it look really foiled and metallic, and it'll just stay put all day long. So I do want to touch briefly on the actual shade selection of the palette. I really love the shades that they chose in this palette for the most part. I love these beautiful jewel tones right here. I think they are so stunning, so beautiful. And I really love the wide variety of matte shades that you got. I like that they included some more warm shades, some more cool tone shades, and I love these two matte pops of color right here. This one's like a deep indigo, and this is more of a matte navy. I think those are absolutely stunning. But if I'm really gonna be nitpicky here, I feel like these shades Crepe and Ecru, you probably could have just picked one of those and put those in the palette, because for me, they kind of function as the same purpose. They're either an extremely light transition shade or something that I just use to very lightly set down my eyeshadow primer. And kind of the same thing with Dusty Rose and Primrose right here. Or I'm sorry, Dusty Mauve and Primrose. I think these shades are both beautiful, but they're so similar and they kind of serve the same purpose in my book. These would just be kind of light transition-y shades for me, or a very light crease color. And I really feel like once you get them on the eyes, Primrose is only a teeny tiny bit lighter, so I feel like I would have much rather had them replace that with something else. The only shades that I feel like are kind of missing from this palette are either a deep matte brown or a matte black. Now I never ever thought in my life that I would be saying that I want a matte black in a palette, because for me, matte blacks are usually something that I could take or leave. The only time I really use them is as eyeliner, and I'd be happy to do the same with a very dark brown. and I feel like that's just a little bit less harsh, so that's usually what I prefer. But I was doing a look with this green shadow all over my lid. I did light brown in the crease and mahogany in the outer corner, and I just felt like I was missing something. I wanted to deepen up the look just a little bit more, so a matte black would have been really, really helpful in that situation. But otherwise, I think they did a really, really nice job with the color selection. I feel like you can create a really wide variety of looks with this palette, especially since they gave you all these different colored jewel tones and the different colored matte pops of color. Otherwise, I really love the color selection. So let's hop into swatches right here. Alright guys, so these are going to be one swipe swatches so you can really see the color and the pigmentation. So this first shade is Ecru. This next shade is Haze. And then this is light brown. So this is Crepe, Dusty Mauve, and Vanilla. So I did live swatch these 4 colors, but I didn't hit record on my camera. So this is just the shade Smoked Plum, Mahogany, Primrose, and Slate Blue. So here is the top 2 rows. As you guys can see, it's primarily matte with the exception of Vanilla. Starting on the 3rd row, we have Nectar, which is a beautiful shade. This is definitely one of my favorite shades in the palette. Azure. We have Splendor. And we have Fizz. Now we have Cosmic, Gold Rush, and Atlantis. And then the final 3 shades are Spruce, Royalty, ooh, that one's so beautiful, and Icicle. So there are the bottom 2 rows. So I did also film a quick little demo using this palette as well as the brush that comes with it on this look right here. I just did kind of something simple today, so I will insert that little tutorial right here. I'm going to start by priming my eyelids with the Essence I Heart Color Intensifying Eye Primer. I'm just applying this all over my lids and blending it upwards to the brow bone. So next we're going to hop in with the shade Crepe right here, and I'm just taking that on a fluffy brush and kind of lightly setting down that primer. Next I'm going in with light brown, and I am taking that crease brush and I am just fluffing this in my outer corner, and I'm also building up quite a bit of color in my crease as well. I'm taking a fluffy brush here and just kind of diffusing those edges a bit. Then I'm going to hop in with Mahogany, and I'm going to take this on a smaller crease brush and concentrate this color more in the outer corner and my outer crease. Next I'm going to go in with light brown once again with that same brush that comes with the palette and just kind of lightly blend that out a bit. Once again going in with my fluffy brush to diffuse the edges. Then we're going to go in with the shade Splendor, which is a beautiful copper, and I'm just kind of putting this all over my lid. I am kind of doing a cut crease shape without actually cutting the crease with any type of concealer, just to really define the eye. Then I'm going back in with that brush that we had the deep brown mahogany shade on and just blending the edges. Next I'm going to go in with the shade Spruce on a little teeny tiny angled eyeliner brush, and I'm just going to do a wing with this shade. It works beautifully in this capacity, and I really, really love the color combo of the copper and the kind of emerald green. Next I'm going in with the shade Light Brown, and I'm just taking this on kind of a chubby shader brush and just running this under my lower lash line. Then I'm going to go in with the shade Vanilla, and on a little teeny tiny detail brush I'm highlighting my inner corners, and then on a bit of a bigger brush I'm highlighting my brow bone. I do want to do some comparisons to other palettes on the market right now. I don't actually own the palettes that I'm comparing it to, but I'm going off of pictures that I've seen and the times that I've seen the palettes in store. So the first one that I wanted to compare this palette to was the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. So I'll insert a picture right here of those 2 palettes side by side. So I feel like the bottom row right here is really what makes me think of this as something comparable to Urban Decay Born to Run. That palette also has a lot of really, really beautiful jewel tones. Some that really stand out in the palette to me, at least, are the beautiful like berry magenta shade, the beautiful emerald green, and kind of that silvery aqua blue shade. And again, it also has a lot of very similar matte neutrals. I believe that palette comes with more shadows, but I think if you're eyeing that palette but you don't want to pay the like $50 or $60 price tag that's attached to it, I think this would be a good alternative, especially because this is on sale for $29 right now, and I just got another coupon in the mail from Ulta for 20% off prestige brands. So I think this is an amazing deal for that. So if you guys watched my haul video, you guys will know that I actually kind of bought this palette because it reminded me a little bit of the Natasha Denona Gold palette. Now, before you start calling me crazy, the couple of shades that I was really attracted to in the Natasha Denona Gold palette were kind of the beautiful blue that looks a lot like Atlantis. And I loved the matte blue too, of course, and I just love the color combo of copper or golds with deep blues. So I feel like those shades right there could definitely give you a comparable look to what you can come up with the Natasha Denona Gold palette. So again, if you've had your eye on that, maybe try this. Maybe if you guys are not so into those mustards or just all the gold shades, or you just don't want to pay that price tag but you want a similar look, I think this would also be a good alternative. I actually recreated a look that Natasha Denona posted on her Instagram story using the Star palette with this palette, and that's on my Instagram page, and I think I'm going to just do a video on that, but I haven't had time to film it yet, so make sure you're on the lookout for that. But you can create a pretty similar look if you've had your eyes on that palette. I've also heard people kind of compare this palette to the Too Faced Chocolate Bar Gold palette. I'll insert a picture right here with those two side by side. And I see where they're comparing it. The Too Faced Chocolate Bar Gold palette does have a lot of really pretty kind of metallic-y shades, and then it does have some really awesome staple mattes. But this one definitely has more mattes than the Too Faced one, so if you guys want more mattes than shimmers, this one might be the way to go. Do you guys need this palette? I think that if you do not already own these colors in your collection, or if you think that these are shades that you're going to use all the time, I would 110% pick it up on the sale price with your Ulta coupon. Full price, I mean, I really love LORAC shadows, but unless it was super unique to my collection, I don't think I would pick this up at full price. But if you're a beginner with eyeshadow or you don't really have any of these beautiful jewel tones, maybe pick it up at full price, but it's on sale right now. So if you just love this color selection and you've been wondering about the formula and how these shades kind of work together, I would say go for it. So that's actually going to wrap up my review, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it so very much. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below, because I put out new videos 3 times a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And yeah, I would love to have you guys join me on those days. So thank you so much for watching once again, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!